שמש דקה ומוות בכנפיה.
In the days of the judging of the judges, there was a famine in the land. A man of Bethlehem in Judah went to live as a migrant for a limited time in the fields of Moab. He himself, his wife, and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech. His wife's name was Naomi. The names of the 2 sons were Machlon and Kilion. They were Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. And they came to the fields of Moab, and they remained, they settled there permanently. This short Hebrew expression, the 2 final words, which I translated, they remained or settled there permanently, is Vayiyusham. And it's in a strange contrast to the word just a few breaths before, where it says lagur, to stay there as a migrant, as a sojourner for a limited time. Quite obviously, Abimelech had rejected his original intention to only dwelling there as a migrant and changed his mind to stay there in the fields of Moab. This short expression corresponds with what is said when that they lived there, they settled there before the people, the nations decided to build the Tower of Babel, or when Terach, the father of Abram, settled in Haran. And this decision has drastic consequences. It goes on and says, then Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died. It doesn't say, there's a difference which you hear especially today in modern Hebrew, that it doesn't say it's the Baal of Naomi. The Lord, that's how normally today's Israelis, women would call their husbands Baali. But it says there, the Ish, the husband, the man. It shows a close relationship, a special relationship. And the rabbis say a man is not dead or does not die except for his wife. And she was left, she and her 2 sons. And these 2 sons took Moabite wives for themselves. It stands out in biblical language that they didn't come to her mother and said, mother, for example, like Samson, who asked his parents to take a girl to be his wife, but they themselves took Moabite girls, women. Now I have to remind you that in the background we have this relationship between the Moabites and the Israelites. And you have to remember the story of Balak and Bileam. Balak, the king of the Moabites, who hired Bileam from Mesopotamia to come up and to curse the people of Israel, and it didn't work. And then Bileam said, "Oh, Balak, you have another option, and that is your wonderful girls. Send them out and let them deduce the Israelite men." And actually, it is a line that goes through the Bible, through King Solomon, up to the time after the Babylonian captivity when Ezra and Nehemiah came back. It is Moabite girls that were a moral pitfall, and their idol Chemosh, a religious pitfall for Israel. And in the end, Moab is part of a coalition of enemies who acted against Israel according to the motto, "Let us cut them off, that they be no more a nation, and that the name of Israel be remembered no more." And that's the reason why the Torah already tells Israel that no Moabite nor a Ammonite may enter the assembly of the Lord, even to the 10th generation. None of them may enter the assembly of the Lord forever, because they did not meet you with bread and with water on the way when you came up from Egypt, and because they hired against you Bileam, the son of Beor, from Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. But the Lord your God would not listen to Balaam. Instead, the Lord your God turned the curse into a blessing for you, because the Lord your God loved you. You shall not seek there, the Moabites, peace or their prosperity all your days forever. And then it goes on in our story. The name of the one Moabite girl was Orpah, the name of the other Ruth. I can make it short with the names, we can only guess. The simple truth is we don't know what these names mean. Orpah, depending on into which language you take it and try to listen or hear something, may mean the fully maned, the one with lots of hair, the trickling. And then it comes maybe in Hebrew from the neck, the heart, or the stiff-necked, the stubborn. And Ruth, the guesses abound, from refreshment, satisfaction, comfort, the stupid, the overflowing, the drenched, the awesome, the pleasing, the friend, the neighbor, the sensitive, the desire. I haven't yet made up my decision. Now, the Jewish tradition, and I don't know either where they have it from, maybe they guessed, but they make these two women the daughters of the Moabite king Eglon. And then it says, it goes on in our text, they had lived there about 10 years. And then also Machlon and Kilion died, and the woman was left alone with her 2 children and with her husband. It would be a whole different discussion now to go into it, whether they had lived there 10 years and then Kilion and Machlon took the 2 girls as wives, or whether they took them as wives and then they lived. There's a discussion. I personally tend to favor that they lived there for 10 years and then they took the women and died, because it makes more sense that the death of Kilion and Machlon is a punishment or is a consequence of their taken Moabite women. And also it's not mentioned why they didn't have children, or that they did not have children. And it in biblical tradition it kind of stands out that it is not even mentioned. So it was a failure that ended with a 3-fold death. And Naomi, having lost her husband, having lost her 2 sons, stands there with nothing, at an absolute low point in her life.